Financial systems operate continuously, with account balances updating at any time, and the brain can register that kind of change, a balance shift, very quickly, often before full conscious awareness sets in. What follows is rarely a reaction to the number itself, but to what that number represents personally and symbolically. No cash, no object, just agreement, because many modern exchanges are really about transferring digital value, not physical things. These systems run on automatic rules, while our minds interpret them through overlapping conscious and unconscious patterns. Visual cues, like a color change in a budgeting app, can quietly trigger emotional responses learned through repetition. So the pause at the shelf isn't only about price. It reflects conditioned responses shaped by ongoing interaction with the system, where the psychological weight of a decision can feel larger than its objective scale. Financial decisions involve math, but they're deeply intertwined with psychology. Signals from other people's lives can appear to suggest different outcomes, and social comparison tends to happen automatically. Over time, neutral numerical symbols take on personal meaning. They become cognitively loaded, carrying associations beyond face value, not because they're real objects, but because we treat them like they are. A common narrative in financial advertising suggests a link between wealth accumulation and personal well-being. We learn the basic rules very young: exchange, more, less. Social narratives often introduce participation in economic systems as a central marker of adulthood. Another common story frames these systems as meritocratic, where effort and skill are expected to correlate with outcomes. But the map of the game is rarely the territory. Within this environment, ongoing social comparison can emerge around perceived position and progress. Research in psychology shows that people often attach personal meaning to financial indicators, reflecting how information is cognitively interpreted and organized inside financial systems. To see the shape more clearly, it helps to simplify. At its core, a modern money system isn't about gold, paper, or coins. It's about a shared story held in the minds of everyone who uses it. We collectively agree that a symbol, a number, can stand in for a loaf of bread, an hour of work, or a piece of land. And the more people who believe the story, the stronger and more real the system feels. Over time, that story becomes a network, a circulatory system for promises and trust, stretching across the world. Through conditioning, abstract financial symbols come to be associated with ideas like security, comfort, and autonomy. Our minds don't experience money as a single number. We divide it into categories: rent, fun, future, a process known as mental accounting. Money in one account can feel different from money in another, even when it represents the same underlying value. And when we evaluate outcomes, losses tend to weigh more heavily than equivalent gains, a pattern identified in cognitive psychology as loss aversion. This is loss aversion. The numbers move mathematically, but our feelings about them do not. From an analytical perspective, economic systems function as shared frameworks of value. Human cognitive processes, shaped in much earlier environments, now operate inside these large-scale systems. Individuals move through them using cognitive and emotional tools that evolved for very different contexts. This helps explain why a large purchase can be carefully debated in one mental account, while spending from another feels effortless. A small savings, like free shipping, registers as a gain in that account, making the extra, unnecessary purchase feel reasonable. Windfalls, like refunds, are often categorized differently from regular income, which can shift how easily they're spent. Even identical payments can feel different. The experience of paying a debt depends on the personal story attached to it. A homeowner feels the loss of selling below an asking price far more strongly than the pleasure of selling above it. Loss aversion shapes the memory. An investment portfolio may grow steadily for years, but the story of a single dip can dominate how it's remembered. Financial comparison often means measuring our own ongoing story against the curated highlights of others. The tiny chance of a large gain creates a what-if narrative that can feel more compelling than the near certainty of a small loss. Large, long-term financial goals can be cognitively overwhelming, leading us to favor immediate, less demanding alternatives. We often outsource authorship of our financial story because managing a global system of promises feels impossibly complex. We are surrounded by the architecture of that story, its interfaces, its temples, its language. We move through it constantly. Shifts in broader economic confidence can align with widespread emotional responses. And the impulse to check a balance is often about perceived stability, not just arithmetic. A key psychological insight is that the human mind responds to abstract economic symbols with very concrete emotional reactions. One way to understand participation in an economy is as engagement with a shared framework of principles and rules, a language that tries to translate time, security, nature, even love, into a limited vocabulary of symbols. Those translations are imperfect. Quantitative security is not the same as the felt experience of safety, and moving between the two requires constant interpretation. We navigate daily between lived emotional experience and the numerical language required for planning, exchange, and coordination within systems. From a cognitive perspective, financial stress isn't explained only by numerical scarcity. It can also arise from the ongoing effort of translating life into formal system measures. Seen this way, individuals are participants inside rule-based systems, not isolated competitors acting alone. In network terms, each person functions as a node within a vast system of exchanges where trust and shared assumptions shape how the system operates. Psychological patterns like mental accounting and loss aversion aren't errors. They are long-evolved cognitive systems now interacting with relatively recent and complex economic structures. Analytical models often separate understanding a system structure from judging performance within it. These are different kinds of understanding. Economic systems can be examined as collective narratives shaped over time by the interactions and participation of many individuals. And by examining the structure of those shared narratives, researchers can describe how these systems operate and why they persist.